Hello, welcome to Uncle Al's Barbecue. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be making me a nacho dip. Now, some people used to call this a bob dip at certain restaurants instead of just it being just plain nacho cheese, and then some people just add jalapenos to it and call it nachos. Well, I go ahead and step mine up a little bit, and I've made this recipe a few times for different people. And it's just another one of them things where it's unique. If you've never had it before, this is something you'd like. So let's get down to it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'll cook up some Owen's regular breakfast sausage in there. Probably enough for about 3 patties. And then I got some ground beef. And I'll probably do enough for the ground beef as like 1 breakfast patty. A small breakfast patty. About the diameter of the roll. About a 1/4 inch thick. And then I will use about a 1/3 can of the Rotella. I'll use a nacho cheese sauce as my base. Now this is up to you. You can get, the Rico is really good. Velveeta, whatever you want. But the base of the sauce, they're all kind of the same in a way. So that'll be the base of the sauce. Then I'll add some mild cheddar, as you can see. A Mexican blend. I will put in a little bit of milk. And once all the cheese starts reducing and gets, liquefied, that's when I add the Rotel. And then I incorporate it. And then I'll add the meats in at the very end and incorporate them. And basically after that, the recipe's over. So let me get to cooking up some of the meats that go into the recipe here, and I'll come back and show you them when they're finished. Okay, so I started out with the beef, and I just got it on medium, and you're going to crumble this up. Now this beef I got was out of the tube. I believe it was 70-30 lean. I think it's chuck. So basically you're going to smash it up like you would make it into taco meat. Okay, and this, as you can see, doesn't take very long to do. Medium heat, and you want to make sure that the color of your beef there's no red left, no pink. Now what I will do also with this, just to make sure that we get it done, I'll make it steam in there. The steam will help cook it. So the beef will be done here shortly, and then I'll show you as I cook the sausage. Alright. The beef is done, and I got it sitting in a bowl with a little bit of a paper towel as a strainer. Okay, steam's coming off, see it's hot, it's cooked. And I'm going to do the same thing here with the breakfast sausage pork. Just going to smash it on down, make it into a patty. And you can adjust how much meat, sausage, that you want to put in your cheese. Some of you may not even want any meat or sausage in there, which that's fine. It's real easy to just warm up the can. I still put that cheese in a small pot that you'll see later. Velveeta, any of them. I'll put a little bit of olive oil at the bottom of the pan. Velveeta's good. I like it. It's just the nacho cheese base. What I found out with adding fresh cheddar and other cheeses into it and a little bit of milk, that they're really pretty close in the flavor. Alright, so we'll get back to this here when it's cooked up. And the good part about this is when you make this nacho, you just add the meats to the cheese last. So you can add as much as you want or as little as you want. Alright. I just flipped this sausage over. And now I am trying to crumble it. If you're watching this video, instead of just going to the end or listening to what I'm saying to you, if you like biscuits and gravy, any of y'all like biscuits and gravy, sausage gravy, well, guess what? What you're seeing right here, that's what goes into that biscuits and sausage gravy. They just cook it up and pound it out. Some of them dice it. You can make it into a patty and dice it up. But most of the time, it is just crumbled like this. And if you cook the whole pan, you go ahead and put the lid on that. Let her steam for a little. If you cook the whole pan of sausage, like the whole tube, you know, if you got a family and friends coming over or whatever, when you cook the whole pan of sausage, leave the grease in the pan from the sausage fat. Then you'll dump in a little bit of flour into there and you make a roux. And once you make the roux, then you can add, if you want to go gourmet on it, like some cream, heavy cream into it. And then you keep whisking it and whisking it and whisking it. I usually use whole milk is what I'll use. And whisk it and whisk it and whisk it until you get the texture you like. And then at the end of it, toss in some salt and toss in some pepper. And that should be all you have to do, because this sausage will have sage in it. And most breakfast sausages do, and there'll be a little bit of a red pepper in there that you can see. And that's what makes this nacho taste so different than any other nacho that you've had, because most nachos at the restaurant or whatever, pretty much all of the nachos and stuff at a Mexican restaurant, the taco meat is the same. In the burrito, soft taco, into the queso or cheese, the meat is the same. You get a long way out of the, even like, what do they call it, a chilada, where they put the red sauce on top. Your enchilada, your beef enchilada, guess what that is? It's usually the taco meat. So the taco meat is dumped into different things for a different title, but it's the base. It's the base of the flavor, the way you like it. And me, I like all of them. Now, I would prefer a crunchy taco over a soft taco, and I would prefer a chicken enchilada over a beef enchilada, but I do like the beef enchilada, sure do. Now this also right here with this sausage, I'm gonna put that lid back on. The way this is crumbled up, if you know what a taquito is, if you ever heard what a taquito is, a lot of you maybe not be from the South. Taquito, like at the old famous Whataburger, is basically a flour tortilla, a scrambled egg with American cheese, and then you dump your breakfast sausage in there and you roll it up like a soft taco. And that's your taquito for breakfast. So I'm going to go ahead and let this all finish right here, and then I will roast some of the rotel. Okay, we're almost done with the sausage. See, if you don't watch the whole video, you don't learn my secrets. See how it's simmering right now and it's steaming? Well, what I did to make sure, because it's pork, is I took a shot glass and I put in a half of shot of water in there and gonna make sure it steams. So now we're making sure it's steamed. The steam is adding heat. We want to make sure the pork is thoroughly finished, but at the same time it has moisture to it, so you're not drying it out. Okay, the sausage is done and the beef is done. Sausage is done. I'm add a little bit of virgin olive oil here. The pan's been wiped out, washed out, and then the rotella. What I'm going to do is spoon this in here and kind of saute this to give it a little bit of a texture. Now on this part right here is important if you actually watch the video. If you want to have a spicy kick in the butt nacho, go ahead and add a couple of jalapenos fresh. Just chop them up into the size you like. Let's see, like on the can here, see that? See the little jalapeno down there? Okay, that's a traditional nacho. If you want to kick up your heat, do that. If you want to kick it up some more, you can put a little cayenne in there. Myself, I don't do that. I like mild. But I will roast and burn this off, and as soon as it reduces down, this will be done. And I'll put it into another bowl, and then we will start melting the cheese. Now, since I'm doing this step by step, let me tell you this right now. I could have saved a lot of time here and just put the cheese on this side, on this pot here. I could have put the cheese in there and had the cheese melting and doing its thing, right? And then I could have sauteed this rotella first instead of the meat and tossed that in there, and then sauteed the beef and then the pork. And the reason I did the beef first, because I didn't want the pork flavor in the beef, but I don't mind getting the beef flavor in the pork, if you understand what I'm saying. So this right here, I'm just going to let it pretty much just burn itself off and dilute it. And, you know, it almost looks like if they didn't put jalapeno in there, you could put this stuff in the blender, make a tomato sauce. Now, if you like tomato sauce with a kick to it, with the, you know, Spanish influence, just go buy you a couple cans of Rotel and 1 can of tomato paste and a small can of tomato sauce. Saute this up like I'm showing you here right now. Put in a couple of cloves of garlic, minced up and diced up, in here with this. And then dump this mixture into a blender. Then put your paste in there, your sauce in there, and dump this in there and stir it all up. And then, you know, it's oregano and basil goes in the Italian thing, but I'm just saying if you want the Spanish style sauce, something different, that's what you can do. Alright, let me all reduce this down, and then I'll get back to when I'm showing you cooking the cheese. Now we're pretty much almost done here, ain't we? Tell you what would be good on this if I actually could have put this, we could have bought these ingredients fresh and roasted them over the grill and then chopped them up and grinded them up that way. I'm not going to get into that. I tried, this is just an easy recipe to make, and everybody likes it. I usually make too much. My wife will take it to work and all her friends eat it and ask how you make it. So now I'm showing you. See how it's reduced down all of a sudden? There you go. Alrighty. It's time to make the cheese. Get the sauce to where I want. I put a little bit of olive oil at the bottom. Just to coat it a little, because you don't want to burn the cheese. You burn the cheese, you ruined it. So that's real important. So here's your can. I like the can. This basically, you know, I think they're all kind of the same, but this one's already kind of melted. See the texture of it? It's another reason I like it. So let's go ahead and scoop all this out. See that? The Velveeta, you kind of got to break it down a bit. This one's just kind of like you just got to heat it up and add to it. That's pretty much all there is in here. All right. So let me do this. Okay, now I add a little bit of milk. All right, and in case you didn't know, cheese comes from milk, right? Okay, well now you do know. So, as that's going, go ahead and cut open my cheese bag. Now I'm going to add some cheddar to it. Cheddar will give it a different flavor for one, and a different texture. You like that stringy, stretched out kind of nacho cheese? Well, that's what the cheddar can do. But I try to dilute it all. That's why I put some more milk in there. And get it all thick and smooth. And then, of course, Mexican blend style 3 cheese. Cheddar's a little sharp. You know, kind of heavy. So, anyway, you can put whatever cheese you want in here. I mixed that can that I just showed you with a small thing of Velveeta before. All right, so I know you can't see this right now, but see the texture? See? It's already, that's why I like the can instead of the Velveeta. Is just, the can's already broken down. And if you ever go to a sporting event or any of that, that's basically what they're using, that or the Rico, which I like the Rico. I just got that one because it was on sale, and to me they seem like they're the same thing. I mean, how many nacho cheese manufacturers are there? So there we go. See, now we're getting to where we can pour it on down. Okay, so now we're at pretty much the texture you want. Go ahead and add in some of the Rotel. The Rotel is a mood thing for me. I don't want it to be dominant, but I do want some in there, and I see that. All right, so you know, I don't want the flavors in here to overpower the cheese. But see, you get a little bit on each chip. So, to make a little bit more sauce, just add a little bit more cheese. Now I add just a little bit more milk. And that should pretty much do it until I add the meat. And get it to the texture I want. I know this part right here is kind of, what's he doing, whatever I'm showing you. I mean, you gotta show you how to do it, right? So we can mix this up. There you go. I mean, I want the cheese. When you order nacho cheese, it's basically watery. So you can see the little pieces of Rotella in there. See that? All right. Now this is when you decide how much beef and how much pork do you want. This is a feel thing. okay? It's a feel thing, but you got to put pork in there to get that flavor I'm telling you about. So I'll sprinkle a little bit of that. And then I'll sprinkle a little bit of the beef. All right, so let's mix this all up. All right, once again, this is up to you on this. You're on your what you want to do. Do you see all that? Basically, hey, you remember I was talking about biscuits and gravy? Well, this is basically a cheese gravy because that's what it looks like. And that's about the texture I'm looking for. And that's about how much of the meats and sauces that I want in there. There you go. All right. So the sauce is done. She's done. Let me go ahead and tease you with this and get me a scoop. Got me a little scoop. There it is. Woo. Shaking. All right. There's Uncle Al's. Queso cheese. Instead of what? Biscuits and sausage gravy. It's chips and cheese gravy. Anyway, that's it. You seen it? I showed the whole thing. Sorry to be so long-winded, but if you want to know how to cook it, I got to show you how to do it. You can cut the time. You can do this recipe in about 10 minutes. Okay? And once again, thank you for watching Uncle Al's Barbecue today. And if you liked it, come on, hit that sub.